Everybody, welcome to another wonderful morning of chemistry, Chem 1105 from College of DuPage, with your host, me, Dr. White. Hi, everybody. All right, couple important things. First of all, I spent all yesterday really doing like grading, and you should have all received an email letting you know last night that your grade was available in Blackboard. Next, you should have received this morning an email with your points for each answer on test number 4. And I will be going through that in a little while. I will cut it out of the video. Did you notice I'm ambidextrous? I can even do it at the same time. Look out, I'm dangerous. But anyways, I'll go through the test in a little while. But I have some important things I want to talk about. And let me open up Blackboard. All right, thumbs up, people. You see Chem 1105, final exam information on your screen. Thank you. All right, let's take a look at this. On Monday, next Monday, I will be giving a comprehensive, that means comprehensive 1105 final. That means everything on the whole semester is covered in the final online during our Zoom meeting. You'll be able to download the password protected PDF file from the assignment area on Blackboard Saturday. Sometime Saturday, I'll have it up. And on Monday at 9 a.m., I will send out the password for your version of the final exam PDF file that you should take. You'll have until noon, 12 p.m. to finish the final exam and upload your final exam answers to the assignment area of Blackboard. When I give it face-to-face, usually takes about 60 to 75 minutes to finish for all students, but you'll be given more time. The final exam will cover all material, and the final exam has 27 problems, 8 pages of questions, plus a couple of pages of important information. There are some multiple part, and there are 5 multiple choice. Now, in terms of the point breakdown, I did it by the material for each test. From test 1, there's 16 points, test 2, 44, test 3, 29, and test 4, 21. It adds up to 110. So there are 10 bonus points you can get on the final exam. That's my special gift to you. I will be doing a review tomorrow and Thursday. I highly recommend you come. We will not have our regular Zoom meeting for our lecture. You'll just be taking the final exam next Monday. And with that, I'd highly recommend you study for the final exam like you need every point. And the best way to study for the final exam is to use your hourly exams as practice problems. Go look at the problems, especially the big ones, and hold on, tea break. And try them on your own. If you can't figure them out, go look at the problem set for similar problems and see how I solved it. Again, look at the bigger point problems on your tests 1, 2, 3, and 4, and try them. If you don't know how to solve them, go and find the similar ones in the problem sets for that test and that material and look how they're solved. Also, you can also look at, for each test, the review, or better yet, the next, I'll have videos for Wednesday and Thursday out. By the way, because I was grading all day yesterday, I didn't have a time to do yesterday's video. I'll get that today along with today's video. All right, any questions on the final exam? All right, I have a question for you. I haven't asked this before. I assume that I really shouldn't assume. You should never assume things. And how long, and put it in the chat, how long does it take you to, once you finish the exam, to upload it, get it ready and upload it and do all your uploading? How long approximately does that take? Could you put that in the chat, someone, or a couple of someone's right now? All right. Thank you, Ishmael. Thank you, Ashley. Anybody else? Okay. For those who have technical problems. Thank you, everyone who answered. I assumed it would take at max about 15 minutes or so. I give you more. So you got from 9 till noon. That's 3 hours. The test shouldn't take you more than an hour and a half, if that long, not even that long. And let's move on. All right, don't forget there's a lab due today, and today's lab will be due on Thursday. Hand them in. Labs are 10 easy points. If you don't hand in labs, you get 0, and that's going to hurt your grade a lot. All right, I'm going to be going through test number 4. I will be cutting this out of the video. However, if you need any questions answered, ask, come to my office hours. Now, today, before I start the test, I'm going to do something special. If you had problems on test 2, and a lot of you did, with the 3-step question using a balanced chemical equation, I will go through an example after our lab today. I'll say goodbye, but stick around if you want to see that. If you did bad on test 2, I'd highly recommend you stick around, because hint, hint, wink, wink, say no more. Actually, it's wink, wink, hint, hint, say no more. If you look at the Monty Python, you should know it for next Monday. Also, I'll give out another hint. I kept my promise. There are 3 balanced chemical equations that you have to balance. They're not balanced yet on the final. I promised I'd do that, and I did. All right, when I go through the test, if you see a mistake, either addition or whatever, let me know by email and I'll correct it. I'll check and correct it if it needs correcting. A student should never, ever be penalized for a mistake I make in grading. So make sure you follow along. All right, any questions? I don't know about you, but if I were in your shoes, well, first of all, they'd be tight because my feet are probably bigger and wider than yours. But if I were in your shoes, I'd be asking, how many points do I have to get on the final exam to get the grade I want? Good question. Now, what I'm going to show you is based on the assumption that you have handed in all labs, and you've done pretty good on the labs. And most of you, like almost all of you, like I think all of you, you handed in the lab, you did pretty good. So let me check once more. Thumbs up, people. Do you see my whiteboard? Thank you. All right. Number X is the sum of the 3 highest tests and plus the extra credit if you did one. And I'll be grading that later today and post it. By the way, this I call, if you look in Blackboard, it's already there, your test totals. That number is there. Now, for an A, to get an A, take 360 minus X, and that's assuming you've done all the labs, the minimum points you need to get an A. For a B, for a C, hold on a second on this one. Yep, those are right. Now, let's take a look at, let's assume you did really good and your X, because you got 100 on 3 tests, no equal extra credit, was 300. Therefore, to get an A, $360 minus 300 equals 60 points out of 110 to get your A. Now, that's how that works. But let me warn you about something. But Jaden, if you look at the syllabus, it's there. It's I want to say 432, but don't quote me on that. No, it's more than that. 532. It's 532 counting labs, tests, and final exam, not counting extra credit. And the extra credit, if you did it right, is 10 points. Thank you, Ashley, for helping me out. All right. For many years, I've been doing what I just did. I want to tell you something, a warning. A number of you are in good shape to get good grades. And to get that good grade, you don't need a lot for the final. And too many times I've seen students say, oh, I don't need a lot of points. I'm not going to study hard for the final. And I don't know how much they study, but it wasn't enough. And they do real bad. And they should have gotten this grade because I don't know if they still use the term. When I was a student, it's called bombing the final. I mean, really do bad. They bombed the final and they get at least one and sometimes 2-letter grades lower than what they should have. Even though you may not need a lot of points, like I just showed you for that one example, study like you need every point. It can't hurt you. It can only help you. If you don't study, you might go down a grade or two from what you thought you should get. I hope you all pay heed to what I just said. Study like you need every point. But this shows you a number of you are in a good boat that if you work hard and do good on the final, you can get a very high grade. Any questions on that? All right, the final will be next Monday. I would hope by Thursday morning, 8 a.m., if not a lot earlier, maybe sometime either late Tuesday or Wednesday, that I will have in Blackboard all your points, total lab and everything else. I will also have your total points for the semester. I'll have your percentage and I'll have your final grade. Now, when I put it into the ECC's wrong school, COD system, for you to see it officially may take a day or so till they post it. But as soon as I get it done and entered into the system in Blackboard, you'll be able to see your final grade. Any questions? All right, it's lab time. And today's lab is a fun little lab. And hopefully you all handed in. Rain asked, are you still dropping one test? The answer is yes. The way I had that X's 3 highest tests, if you go to Blackboard right now, you will see your test total right after test number 4 in the grade book. And that is the sum of your 3 highest tests. I have it set up in an Excel spreadsheet to look at the 4 test scores and add the 3 highest ones. If you haven't figured out, I'm a power user in computers and software, and I've been using a spreadsheet. Should I tell you this? I think since about 1983. How many of you are around in 1983? Yep. It shows too. Ooh, I shouldn't have said that. All right, let's do the lab. Now, I think we didn't have time in this semester to talk about it, but I figure I'd throw it in the lab. How many of you have heard the term carbohydrates or carbs? I think most of you have. And carbohydrates, you think of what are really starches. Things like table sugar called sucrose is a carbohydrate, but not a starch. Things like glucose and fructose are carbohydrates, but not starches. What's the difference? How many repeating units or how big something is? And today, we're going to have fun with starches and other carbohydrates. Now, back before we had all our wonderful electronic instrumentation in chemistry, back about 1890s through 1930s, 40s, 50s, when chemists were trying to find something, they would test a chemical. And because we didn't have the electronic instrumentation we have now, you see some of that in the CSI shows, even though it's, how should I say, Hollywood fiction, but some of the stuff we have is amazing. I've used it in my career. Chemists develop visual tests. They test something by dropping a liquid on it and watching if it changed color. And that would indicate yes or no about a certain part of the makeup of the molecule. And there are a lot of different visual tests, and you're going to learn one of them today. And today's lab is carbohydrates. Now, before we go into the lab, let's talk a little about what is a carbohydrate. Now, by definition, a carbohydrate is anything that's called a polyhydroxy ketone or aldehyde, or when you add water and acid, becomes a polyhydroxy aldehyde or ketone. Now, the most common carbohydrate in all of nature is glucose. And glucose exists in two forms. Each bend in a line is a carbon here. This is a cyclic form, and here is the acyclic form. And both exist in your body, in your blood. This is the sugar. When you have, these are called monosaccharides, or disaccharides are called sugars. These are also called carbohydrates. Now, this forms this form, which can link together with others. Just like a freight train has boxcars linked together, you can link glucose together. And guess what? Mother Nature does. And we have starch. Everybody see the 300 to 600 on your screen? Thank you. And this is the structure of starches. Starches, things that make up the good things in life, like potato chips, potatoes, French fries, pizza crust, you go on, name it, really good bread. And this is a polymer. And a polymer is a big macromolecule of repeating units. Remember our lab we had. And the repeating unit is glucose. Now, this looks like it's in a straight line.